So if I want to access any class variable in a VF page, how I need to declare? In which way I need to declare my variables? Properties, like a properties, right? Public account SSC list get set, right? And then public account controller SSC list equal to SSC list equal to new list of account. What we observe before and all, whenever the class is created, you have a controller which will create automatically with the parameters, right? Apex pages dot standard controller and controller. But because this is a custom controller, you don't need that. Because this is a custom controller, you don't need that. Okay? Clear? Yeah. Public void account details. SSC list equal to select ID comma name comma type comma rating from account rating from account. Get set public void search SSC I did nothing. I created one list variable and I created one string variable. So whenever it's a get account details, I'm getting a queried an account which will get a account details, right? Okay. So here in this you have a concept called page block table. You have a concept called page block table, Apex page block table. If you go to the page block table, you have usage available. For a time constraint, I'm just taking directly Apex page block table. Account list. Here in value you need to use your collection variable. Here in value you need to use collection variable. You didn't get anything. The reason behind get accounts is not called. Let's say I'm using get accounts. You got your account names, everything, right? Yes or no? Yeah. So let me do in a different way. This is page block table directly. I'll use like why it is there is no form. Apex form. Apex form. Apex page section. Apex input text label search accounts apex command button value get accounts action. So when I say get accounts, it will get everything. It will get everything. Now if I click a get accounts, it will get an account details, right? But the problem, you observe one thing, if I click get accounts, what happening? The page is blinking, right? Which is not good, right? Whenever I click, page is reloading, which you don't want to. You can avoid, instead of loading the entire page, you can load only the data. So how can we do that? In a command line, command button, you have a concept called re-rendered. What is rendered? Rendered required true means, which is mandatory. Re-rendered means it specifies on which form I need to refresh. That's it. ID equal to FM. ID equal to FM. Now you can see if I click get accounts, whether page is refreshing. No, right? If I click get accounts, this page is refreshing or not? No, right? Before, it just blinking out. Now you can see only data is loading. Only data is loading, right? Let me put the different columns. We have only 3 columns. One column. Let me add a different columns also. Command name, type, and then rating. Name, type, and rating. Get accounts. You got your type, rating, and everything. Now here I need to say only testing. Now it need to get only those results which is matching with testing, right? So for that we have a concept value. What is the name we are declared? The parameter string SSC name. Because input we don't have a action function, what we need to do? For input we don't have action function. So we need to declare by taking a support of action support. By taking a support of action support tag. Apex action support event on key press action search accounts. Search account. Instead of rendering everything, you need to render only form. Acha, I'm using mistake. You got it? Whenever you are changing, your data is updating, right? Yes or no? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. On change. I'm saying on change is a event. Whenever there is a change, whenever there is a change, then it will say, let's say I clicked on somewhere, so it got filtered out. Let's say Deepak. Now I'll say only PAK. You got it. PAK is matching, so you are getting this data. PAKD, now you don't get. Only D. Got it. Now we can able to search how we are doing this. It's very easy. We are using input text. We are using input text and we are using action support. What we are using here? What we are using here? Guys, you there are sleeping.
Also,
You guys are there are sleeping. Action support is on change. Same page, I'll define in another version 1, in a different mode. Not even this way. I'll define the same method in a different mode. Okay? I'll take entire page copied and I'll be using the same page here also, but I'll change the functionality. Here I'm using action support, right? I don't use action support now. I don't use my action support. I don't use my action support. Observe this. Whenever on chain, I'm calling my search ACC. Search ACC is my script now. Search ACC is my script, JavaScript. Why we need script? To validate the page, right? Function search ACC. Now, instead of defining there, I'll define my Apex action function. Name go server. Action. Now my action I'll define the page what we have from this method only. Search ACC. Search ACC. And then I need to re-render the same form. I need to re-render the same form. Here I'll call my server action go server. Now I got it. Same functionality is working here also with a different version, with a different way. Right? Are we getting it or not? Now tell me the difference between the two approaches. You understand. But controller is same, right? Controller is same in both pages. I didn't change my controller, but I changed the way my logic executes, right? Now tell me what is the difference between these two? What is the difference between these two? What you observe the differences in this? Gone? Okay, fine here. I'll only tell. Okay, here I'm using my action support. Here I'm using my action support, which is calling my server action whenever there is a change in the event directly, right? But when it comes to this page, I'm calling my JavaScript. I'm calling my script tag first. From a script, I'm calling my action function, which will do my server action. So the question always goes, if you don't have a action functions, action attribute in your page components like Apex components like input text or output label or whatnot, how can you call your server? There are always two ways to call your server action. Server action in the sense Apex class methods. One is using action support directly. The other one using calling your calling your JavaScript and invoking your Apex methods. What are the two ways that you can invoke your Apex method from a non-action methods? What are those two ways? How can you invoke your Apex class functions? There are two ways. One by using Apex action support. One by using Apex action support. Okay?
Okay.
The other one is you can invoke
Java.
JavaScript. From a JavaScript you can call your action function by passing its name, which will do the same action. Now the question, which one is the best approach? What is the recommended approach to utilize? It's whether it is the action function or whether it is the action support. So my recommendation is that the decision always happens based on the page development. Both ways are standard and they are recommended ways. Both ways are recommended. Okay? Nothing is big and nothing is small, and both ways are good in their places. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question on this page?